We get an announcement next Wednesday, the 29th of July. And I think, under Warsh, things are obviously going to change. And this is how it's going to change. First, we get the statement, right? That statement is probably going to be less than a half a page. It used to be 2 pages long. And that statement is not going to have any forward guidance. So the market's going to be left to their own devices to figure out where he's going. The second thing is, in the vote, we could get dissent. Lori Logan, Beth Hammack, Kashkari probably are going to dissent and ask for a hike. I don't think we're going to get a hike, but you're going to see dissent. And since there's no discussion,
since there's no guidance, right?
Yeah, no guidance, that's going to create some uncertainty and volatility as to where the Fed is going. And then FOMC meeting, we do not get the SEP, which is the dot plot. So we don't get that dot plot sort of giving us a sense of where people on the committee are standing with respect to hike, hold, or lower. So there's going to be a lot of uncertainty around this meeting unless we have a press conference. And that's, again, something Warsh does not want to do. He does not want to hold a press conference. Now, if he does hold a press conference, that means something has changed. And he will call that literally at the last minute. So what would have to change would be a decision to hike rate. And that's going to be the
So if he calls a press conference, batten down the hatches.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But that would probably come out in the statement, half an hour before he holds a press conference. But you have to put in perspective, before the election, you got 3 FOMC meetings. Next Wednesday, then you have one on September 16th, and then one on October 28th. If he does not hike next week, which I don't think he will, he's going to probably have to hike in September because the October 28th meeting is too close to the election. So you only have 3 FOMC meetings before the election. So I think we're looking at a September hike, and the markets are going to sell off in anticipation of that. That's been my bias. So we'll see.
Okay. Do you think there's a hike coming right after midterms? Too early to tell.
Yeah, I think it's too early. One of the things that Warsh said when he was first appointed and was asked about, the inflationary pressures, he said it varies depending on what asset class you're looking at. And he said there's not a lot of inflation in housing. He specifically talked about housing. He wants to get that long end down. But he did say there's a lot of inflation in financial conditions or financial markets. And I wrote a piece, which I published, I think, on Wall Street Beat, titled Warsh is putting markets on notice. I think he wants to bring the markets down. And that's why I'm, significant correction between now and year end.
Yeah, just like when Powell started, he came out with a big puffy chest. We'll see. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fine line to walk. He obviously doesn't want to push us into recession, but he wants to be being serious about reining in inflation. He's going to have to do something about financial condition. And the markets are doing it for him. I mean, we've got a 30-year at 518, a 10-year at 460 something?
Almost 470.
So the markets are starting to tighten financial conditions for him. That's what he wants. So he doesn't have to take the blame it on the market.
Yeah, because taking the blame in this administration, he'll literally be shot out of a cannon if he hikes. I mean, it's a professional decision. It's a career kind of making or breaking. It's like more than ever. I mean, the president is extremely aware of what the stock market's doing. He told us to buy Intel. We should have all bought Intel. What the hell are we possibly thinking? I mean,
he told us to buy Dell.
Exactly. Why didn't you do that, honey? That's a tough one to answer when the missus is
take him at his word
as to why you don't. Just because that's what he's going to do. So, we'll see.